you're ready to roll, everyone. Thank you.
Ryan, how much is this week, is it physical or mental more so for you guys?
For both, I think. Currently gets a South African side that is a very physical team, so you have to match that, but you also have to be smart around how you play and how you mentally prepare for the challenge ahead, so I think it's definitely a combination of both.
Is the regime a lot different this week to say in VA? You had extra days there, and you know the training sessions and things. Are they just kind of packed in?
Yeah, I think we've got to be really smart around how full the tank is at the end of the week. Yeah, we got to Buenos Aires nice and early and got used to the jet lag and had time on the field to train and get the minutes there. And I think this week it's, you know, Gilly's world class, so he'll have his timings and things like that sorted. So he's probably written about it in his book, that kind of thing. But no, it's just about having a full tank at the end of the week, and that's up to the coaches and our trainers and the experts on how we get that.
Cody, do you feel fresh? You feel pretty good?
Yeah, I feel good considering we got off the plane yesterday and had a good night's sleep last night, which was nice, and just ready to go. Looking forward to it.
When does it kick in? Sort of, do you get any form of jet lag coming this way from Argentina, or does it sort of smooth itself out given the BA week can just be pretty beastly when it comes to the sleep patterns and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the bulk of it's last week dealing with that, and then you sort of get back over here. It's a lot easier to go to bed and sleep through the night. I think it's just the flight getting here that's probably the most difficult part. But once you're here, you're sort of comfortable. You know, South Africa's a nice place, and it's easy to get caught up in relaxing a bit. We don't want to do that.
South Africa's followed up their win over you with a victory over Australia. How much more confident do you think they're going to be with a couple of wins in the bag now?
They're very right to be confident, I think, after their performances the last couple of weeks. Obviously the loss in Wellington for us is a difficult one to take, but they deserved that win at the end of the day. They played really well, they defended well, and they did that again last week against Australia, so I'd say they'd be pretty confident to be at home this week.
How do you use the hurt? Steve's spoken about it hurting. How do you go about using that?
I think that's different for everyone. You just got to use it and how you prepare and how genuine your week is in your preparation. So you don't leave any stone unturned with regards to that, and then that's how you get the performance on Saturday. It doesn't just, you don't just bottle up the hurt and go out there and rip it on Saturday. It's everything you do Sunday till Saturday. So that's how you kind of use that as extra motivation and with regards to your preparation.
Is it still a hurt, or do you have more of a pragmatic approach to it than the word hurt now?
Probably a bit of both. I think the early part of the week's about getting the game plan and understanding about what's about, like Nige referred to, that mental side of it, so the intelligence in your game and how we want to play, and then you bottle a little bit of that hurt and bring that with the physicality. So it's a mixture of both, but you use it to your advantage rather than let it hinder you.
The result in Wellington, though, is still some of the gloss that might have been lost over the years between the Boks and the Olympics.
Gloss with regards to the Boks, you mean?
Yeah, well, the rivalry between the two sides.
Oh, we've never, the Gloss has never not been there for us. They're one of the best test match sides in the world. I think that's potentially something that the media here put on them, but no, we always respect them. They're an outstanding side. They've got some class players right across the field, and it's always a massive challenge when we come up against.
They changed their defensive system maybe a little bit this year to be a bit more rush. Were you expecting a lot of that, and how do you think you coped with it in Wellington?
I think they definitely changed their defensive system. They are bringing a little more line speed, and they are numbering off a little bit differently than they have in the past. So we took some learnings out of that into the Argentinian game, and it's about just continuing to take those learnings forward into this week's test match, and make sure we look at how they played against Australia and take the learnings out of that as well. So that's what this early part of the week's all about, getting nice and clear, learn from what they've done and what we want to do to be able to exploit what they're doing.
What were the lessons out of the Aussie game that you?
Without going into it too much, it's around the defence, how they're defending, and just how Aussie probably put themselves under pressure a wee bit, and probably a wee bit what we did in Wellington. Gave give them opportunities to put us under pressure when that's what our game's all built around. So it'll be around, it's not rocket science, putting them under pressure on Saturday.
Have you noticed since the Lions tour maybe that every team wants to get there because the Lions show that that's a way that it could work?
Yeah, some teams are, but with that defensive system, there's always opportunity. So it's about exploiting that.
Ryan, just come off 50 Clerk has obviously played a big role in that defensive system, rushing up, but then also on attack, it seems that South Africa, most of their play sort of is off him as well at 9 rather than maybe the fly half. In terms of you guys dealing with that, does it make it easier when a team is mostly off 9?
I don't know whether it makes it easier. That they're very effective at using him on attack, and he sort of buzzes around in their defensive system, doesn't he? So he's just one of the players that you prepare for. Our boys that defend around the ruck, they have to look at his film and see how he likes to get out and create space for his forward runner. So, like I said, it's just bottling that hurt if he was effective in Wellington. It's about making sure he's not on Saturday. So it's just about how we prepare and how we prepare to defend him as a player.
Codie, what's it like having Kieran Reid back, I suppose, particularly for the lineouts this week? And how important is he to that?
He's awesome. You know, he's one of the world's best number 8s, or if not is. And just his persona on the field and off it is huge to have in this group. And saying that, you know, we've got people that stepped up last week and nailed that role. We had some late changes in that RG game, and I thought those boys handled that pressure really well, and they stood up. With Rito, he is a great line-out option and on attack and defence. So I think the combination there is good. But when you've got like Luke Whitelock and stuff like that who can slot into those places pretty seamlessly, it just shows the depth of our loose forward trio.
Codie, your team's record at Loftus is pretty good in that. Do you think about things like that, or give you extra motivation or confidence going into a clash on the outfield?
To be honest, I wouldn't know the last time All Blacks played in Loftus, and I definitely wasn't part of that, so I haven't personally thought about that. For me, it's just about getting my preparation right for the team, so that when I get out there, I can perform if that's the case.
Codie, do you guys have any sort of plan, or do you even think about combating a player like Malcolm Marx, who kind of had a breakthrough game in this fixture last year?
Yeah, he's probably one of their key players in their forward pack that can build a lot of momentum for them. We preview pretty much the whole team, and we look at their strengths, and obviously he's one of them. He's great over the ball. He's a threat with the ball in hand as well, as is their locks and their loosies. The way Khaleesi's playing as well, he's really leading that forward pack around the field. I think he's a huge confidence booster for them if he's playing well. So for us, we just Rob Crotts talked about building pressure, and it can't just come on one guy. It's got to be among the whole team to get a win in South Africa.
As a fellow hooker, I mean, people in South Africa like to think of Malcolm Marx as almost the best hooker in world rugby. Do you think that could be justified or not?
Well, yeah, if the world thinks that, I suppose. He's a great player. I'll take my head off to the way he plays on the field. But I don't get caught up in that. If I play well, that's what I focus on.
For you personally, just on that, does it almost motivate you to come up against a guy that has got that huge reputation in world rugby? Does that bring out the best in you?
I think it just means that you have to be on your game, because you want to obviously perform yourself. So knowing that you're going up against a great player has its own motivations, I suppose, but don't try to get caught up in that too much, because you can sort of bottle yourself into thinking that.
Are you relishing though? I mean, it's been a great opportunity for you lately with Dane Coles being out to really show your worth and cement your place in the system, and obviously against a player like Malcolm Marx, if you play well, it's a nice tick against your name.
Codie's probably getting a bit tired of talking about himself, so I'll talk about him first. I've seen his game go to another level this year, especially for the Crusaders. There's a massive reason of why we're successful, especially on the defensive side of the ball and the leadership he's taken around driving the team defensively. He's a very intelligent hooker, and I'd take him over Marks any day of the week.
Ryan, from that Wellington game, you guys talked about disappointments. From the leadership group, what was the biggest disappointment? Because you played well in certain areas. Was it yourselves or how you executed? What was the biggest disappointment?
Disappointment was probably the fact that we didn't get the result. You could walk around the change room and see the hurt and see how disappointed the team was. But probably I'll talk about the learnings out of it. It's probably our connections out there. It was probably the learnings out. You know, we were feeling good when we were 14 points up, and we let them back in ourselves. We don't think they created a bit of pressure, but we let them back into the game. And then the learnings were that, you know, we could have executed a bit better down the stretch, and also the learnings were that we always believed that we were going to get it done, and we didn't, and it hurt. So a lot of learnings, but probably as a leadership group, just how important our connections are out there. So the connections that we feed into our drivers, so we can make good decisions based on game plan, game flow, and how we can exert pressure. So that's probably a good learning from last time.
Right, I don't know how much of a golfer you are, or whether you follow golf or so, but you know, the Europeans were saying, with the Ryder Cup just having been, that what motivated them a lot was thinking of, you know, that feeling when the Americans received the cup and the sort of elation they were having with the previous one. And that motivated them for this one. Do you guys take that sort of, as you were saying, that hurt that you felt in the change room straight after 2 weeks ago as a big motivation into this test?
We're motivated for any test. Yeah, South Africa got one over us, and we're extremely motivated to come here and put it right. We're an immensely competitive group, individually and as a team, and yeah, we're always motivated to come here, but maybe that provides a wee bit more.
Ryan, just a word on the defence. The Box scored 5 tries against you last time. What lessons did you take from that game?
There was a couple of learnings through our defence, but like I said before, we gifted them a couple tries, so it's about limiting those and fixing a couple of learnings from defensively last time. So,
Codie, you guys not feel a little vulnerable in the lineup without Brody returning?
No, I'm not taking anything away from Guz because he's a world-class lock, but like I said, the depth of this team is the strength of ours, and I think whoever plays on Saturday can step right in. You know, Scott Barrett is playing unreal footy this year. Sammy White never takes it the backward step. So yeah, and then we've got Paddy Tuipulotu who's come back from injury, and he's a beast in his own right. So I think we're pretty good there.
Codie, you've had a
Last
pretty
couple of
significant,
questions.
thanks Joe, you've had a very significant workload for the Crusaders, for the All Blacks. You appear though to be thriving on it. Is that the case, or is there any form of tiredness or anything like that at any stage at the moment?
You always sore after a test match and a super game, that's for sure. But no, I'm just loving being a part of the team. I've had a few years in here now, and I just relish getting the chance to run out there with my mates. You know, play along Crotty every week, which is always good. He's one of my best mates. So I just enjoy my time out there, and whatever I can do for the team to help us get a win or perform is where I get a lot of my energy off. And whether you're still sore on Thursday going into a Saturday game, it's that energy of excitement that I get that gets me up.
How much energy are you getting off working with some of these new props coming? And I know Tim's not necessarily young, but you know, he's still fresh to the environment. You can get away with it like 4 years, 50, right? Angus obviously fresh to the environment. Scrumming with Carl must be a whole bunch of fun at the moment. What sort of energy are you getting from some of those younger guys and being able to work with them in that front row unit?
It's so good because they're all just willing to learn. You know, Carl's been in here for a few months now, and he's only 25, and he's just, he's soaking everything in. But when he gets out there on a Saturday, he's one of the best in the park, and he loves the scrum. I don't think, sometimes you see him running around on the field and he's absolutely blowing, and then there'll be a scrum called, and all of a sudden he's ready to go again, and he's just getting excited to get stuck into a tight head. So It's good. Pez has had a rough ride with injuries, and for him to come back, you know, I think all that stress on his body's taking a toll on his hairline. But he's going good. He's going good.
Just finally then with regard to that, can I ask what it's like scrummaging with Carl at the moment? I mean, geez, on Saturday he was just folding folk up and splitting them out. I mean,
I think you just get a sense of his energy every time there's a scrum. Like I say, when he's buggered, he'll just turn around, turn a corner. There's a scrum and he's ready to go again. And he just, for such a quiet, sort of humble guy that just seems like a big friendly giant. Once there's a scrum, he's a beast, and it's unreal.
Yeah, that's energy. Tell us about the power. What does that feel like?
Oh, you just know that you got a guy on your left that's going to do a job every time, and he's going to try and create pressure if it's not our ball.
Ryan, just
hang on, we've got one last question at the back here.
Ryan, quickly, leaders without titles in the team are important because the leadership group helps the captain. Now, the danger with you guys trying to come here and settle what was wrong in Wellington, you need to calm down people. What is the dynamics there with you? Because you got young players in your team as well.
Yeah.
So how do you guys manage that dynamic of getting the guys motivated but also calming them down and keeping their heads clear for the match?
I think that's part of knowing your players individually, not knowing your mates, and so being able to look at someone and see if they're in the right space. So you know if someone's where he needs to be. You can see if someone's drifting or someone might be too hyped. So it's just about seeing those and getting alongside them and knowing their process about how they need to get to where they need to be to, if that makes sense. And just connecting with them in that way. So if it's someone that's a bit hyped up, you might go connect with him and just ask him what he's seeing, and that way he's already thinking about next task rather than being too hyped up. So little tools like that help out in the field, but I trust our boys that will prepare well mentally and be in a pretty good space come Saturday.
Thanks everyone. Cheers, we'll wrap it up there.